Good evening.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm A-okay.
Yeah, you seem super jazzed.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you to jump up and get your blood moving, but it's not going to happen.
Got a busted knee. It feels like rock crushers crushing my kneecap and ripping through all the ligaments and muscles around it. And every step I take, it feels like my leg is completely twisted 180 degrees with every step. It's painful.
So for the listener, this is a development because most pain is described as a stabbing pain of some sort. So this is completely different. This is new territory for us.
Crushing, ripping.
Crushing, ripping, not stabbing.
No. And it was getting better. And then I'm like, oh, it's getting better. I'm going to go do some plyometrics and do some star jumps, jumping jacks to star jumps. Nope.
Didn't work out.
Didn't work out.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And now I'm worse off than I was before.
She is. And on that super light note, let's get to it.
Sure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the new year. You've survived 3, I would say, not so spectacular years. We're about to go into 2023. The 20s so far, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be controversial, but not super great. I haven't been keen on them. I haven't.
It's funny. I always said 2020. There's just something about 2020. It was so heavy, just right from the get-go. And then sure enough, it just panned out, and it's.
Yeah, it hasn't been neato.
And it hasn't really turned around.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because we stopped drinking recreationally about the same time officially. I think.
I stopped drinking way before then.
But you'd still dive in every so I put a little toe in the pool.
At least 5 years.
Wow.
Minus one pina colada last summer that was supposed to be for Willow. That was filled with alcohol.
Yeah, she was a fire breather.
It's a good thing I tasted it.
Or as one of the dads in the ring I would say is a little whisper. So as we go into this next year, I know the answer for you specifically, but tell me your thoughts on resolutions and tell me your thoughts on whether you feel resolutions can be a good or bad thing for kids.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I've always thought resolutions are totally pointless waste of time that just fill us with shame.
Ta-da!
Oh, my throat's so dry all of a sudden. Never set them. Never thought that they were valuable. However, in saying that, goal setting is a very fantastic lifelong skill if you can do it. With my ADHD brain, real hard. I'm just like, yeah, go for gold and everything. I'm just going to do it.
Yes.
Whereas if you set proper goals and break them down. Oh, I've got a cough. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Break them down step by step, day by day, week by week. That's actionable. Like, I do think that that's valuable. Even just going through that process in case you get a task at work that you have to break down. That's so overwhelming. Like, I think there's so many good skills tied in with that. And so, yeah, that was something I was thinking of doing with the kids. I can't remember. I had a specific activity that I was going to do with them. I can't remember what the activity was.
I'm sure they'd love that. They love activities.
Yeah. But I already actually have something that I'm going to focus on. It's not a resolution, but something I'm going to start working on for myself a little bit.
Is that the teaser? You gonna share any more?
It's just going through my strengths and things that I love doing, because I've just got too much on my plate and I've tried to do it all. I'm wearing every single hat in the universe. So just getting rid of some other hats.
So pros, cons sort of thing on what you like doing versus what
I hate doing. And getting rid of the hate doing. Like I was very successful with getting rid of having to wash the toilets. Hate doing it, delegated it away.
I mean, you avoid the toilets so much. I'm surprised you know where they are in the house. Like if I asked you to describe in detail any one of the toilets in our house, I don't think you could do it other than white.
Yeah, I can.
How many of ours are dual flush?
Dual flush. What does that mean? Oh, two buttons.
Boom,
Two buttons.
boom. Right out of the gate.
Two buttons.
Yeah.
Aren't they all flush? like handle flush?
But those can be dual flush too.
Oh, I don't understand what dual flush is then.
Dual flush is low flow and high flow. Dual flush. So this is not where I expected this conversation to go. Anywho.
Okay. I don't know.
All right. So for the kids.
So should you be turning, like hitting the handle?
Toilets?
Hold on, but do you move the handle a different way?
No, all of ours are low flow. None of ours are dual flush.
Oh, okay. Well, that was dumb then.
But you had to think about it, didn't you? Because you didn't know.
So they all just flush the same way.
Poorly, according to you.
Yeah.
So back to the kids, because it's always about the kids. Besides the mystery activity that you yourself can't remember, for parents, what would be a good approach to having a conversation around framing it as a resolution or not? Like, how would you approach that?
Well, first, what do you think about resolutions?
I gave up on resolutions years ago, and I switched to more of a guiding principle. Like, so I try and pick a theme for the year, which is dumb in a way, I get it, but it helps me because I break it down into what I want to, rather than be like, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do the gym for blah, 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 right? Because you're right. That fails. It never works. It's not a realistic expectation. But last year I set my yearly theme at execution, meaning completion. So trying to follow through on things to make sure that they got done. So if I was to do something, I would do my best to make sure that it got done, right? And I found that to be more successful because the advantage that, to your earlier point, is there's a lot less guilt associated with it on those times like, fuck, I didn't do that thing today, right? For resolutions, it was, I didn't go to the gym today. And then the next day, I didn't go again. And then it's over, right? Whereas the theme, it was like, okay, that's fine, but you still got 300 X amount of days in the year that this theme is a part of. You need to focus on doing that, right? So that's I don't do resolutions. I try and look at overarchingly, what do I feel is going to improve my life the most as a construct, as a guiding principle, and then I put that there.
Well, I think, and I actually have, for my other podcast, I just did something along these lines. So I'll put the resource that I created for that in the show notes here, but it's kind of like a goal setting, and maybe the link to that episode too, because I do talk a little bit about that, but sort of what is it that I want to work on? I mean, there's so many different ways that I'm always talking about, right? Like your Venn diagrams, having what's I'm really already successful with, what is it that I want to work on? What's really hard that we can cut a table for later. And so then looking at, putting it on Post-it notes, this is the thing that I'm working on. What can I do? One little thing today. And then at the end of the day, reviewing, how did it go? What did I learn from today? Didn't make it to the gym. Why didn't I get to the gym? Well, because I slept in. Okay. What am I going to do differently a little bit tomorrow? So I think that that's really important. One thing that it's not about perfection. I think we always think it should be perfection and I got to do it exactly how I planned it. But it's just about that one little tweak for tomorrow, And so, I mean, I work with a lot of parents and it's common. Okay, I just want to exercise, right? Or my teenagers or my young adults, just want to exercise, want to get to the gym. But that's from couch potato doing nothing to all of a sudden going to the gym 5 days a week for 2 hours. That's a huge discrepancy. That's just a huge change. So, I start with, could you, the minute your feet touch the ground when you get out of bed, do 5 jumping jacks? Oh yeah, that's easy. I could totally do that. So I look at how important is this to you? Because if it's not important to you, then chances are you're not going to do it. And how confident are you that you can do that? Going to the gym, it's 50-50, right? Doing 5 jumping jacks the minute I get out of bed, yeah, no problem. One jumping jack, just that's it. So kind of working small. I always use the analogy, and I forget what it was. I think it was one of the rovers that went to Mars the very first time that we sent one out. And, the tabloids were saying it was a huge success. Nothing got in the way. It went straight there, bang on, perfect. But the scientists are like, hold on a second. It actually wasn't. That rover was off course every 0.001 millisecond or whatever it was, right? Like it's just always off course. And there were so many things that we didn't expect. There's a meteor shower. Something else was out there. We have no idea what it was, but it threw it off course. But that little rover, or, the satellites that are with it was constantly checking and readjusting and readjusting and readjusting. And so literally every 0.001 millisecond, readjust, back to course, back to course, back to course, back to course. And I've talked lots about setting that GPS, right? That kind of the aspirational. And so it just because being healthy, working out and stuff is just an easy one that so many people focus on. But so maybe our GPS, Mars, is a healthy lifestyle. And we're going to get off track. Well, today we had a we have an annual bake-a-thon.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fixed because I never win, but yeah, it's a fun time for the family.
So we all bake, whatever. And then we sit around and eat like 6 different desserts as we vote which ones are best. So, we're off track, but it's not because we are complete failures, right? That we can throw everything away. It's just, okay, now we're going to readjust a little bit tomorrow and a little bit tomorrow and just a little bit at a time.
Yeah, totally.
And those little changes, it snowballs into something bigger, right? And it picks up momentum and then you're successful. And so I guess it's about establishing that habit of checking in the first place. What do I need to do tomorrow? And being intentional about that. But we know our brains aren't fixed. We can create new habits. It's just about being flexible and not beating ourselves up when maybe we do go on detour. But if you've set your GPS, like I always talk about, if you set the GPS, as long as you're moving, even if you're moving in the opposite direction, as long as you're moving, that GPS always guides you back. And so that's why it's important to set your GPS to know, and that's why we've talked about the values for parenting, but the same thing with kids. What kind of kid do you want to be? What kind of lifestyle do you want to have? Thinking about your body early, knees and joints and all of those things. Not that kids would ever think about that, but so I would start with things that are important to the kids, right? So we might want our kids to set a goal about doing homework every day and studying every day and getting good grades. But if that's not important to them, goal setting is never going to be effective. Right. It should never be based on shoulds. It should be based on wanna. And that's how we build success. Start with something that they're really keen on and helping them reach that goal. And maybe it's a big sort of audacious goal, but small, manageable daily steps or weekly steps that they can get to be there. It's going through that process that absolutely is so important for our kids to know.
Very cool. Yeah, and I think that makes sense. And the GPS is essentially what I'm saying that I'm setting.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same principle, which it's a good way of putting it. So that was it. That was what I was curious about. And it just came up the other day because I think your mom asked you, what do you set for resolutions? And you were prompt with your response.
What did I say?
I don't do resolutions. They're stupid. I think was specifically what you said. Your mom went, oh, okay. And that was the end of the conversation. But it got me thinking because I do think they're stupid. I think resolutions as a guiding light, yeah, great. I want to get in better shape. There's a resolution, right? But tactically, what are the things you're going to do? And I think to your point, the massive life change never works, right? It's the incremental, it's like any little habit becomes a habit when it's easy and it doesn't really take a lot of effort to build, to start. Then it builds and it builds and it builds, right? Good and bad. And I think it's the same thing as trying to teach the kids early that they already have habits. They already have things that they do. they just never thought about it. So the trick is trying to introduce new positive habits that get them where they want to go in a way that does the same thing. They're not stressed about it. They're not feeling that it's work. It's not put upon them, that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
and if there are little things like pairing it with something they're already doing, Maya's really good with that in terms of, oh, we're watching TV, I'm going to roll and stretch.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're pairing it. She's already watching TV anyways. So we're like the other day, I was folding laundry, right? As we're going to watch a show. So like we can pair it with things that we're already doing, which can be really helpful as well.
Yeah, I agree.
So just to, I know we're going to wrap this up, but just quickly, what's your GPS? Like if you had the one sort of, I mean, obviously there's going to be lots of little elements, but is there something for you?
Just for me, it's just this year. So last year was like execution and completion, right? Like it was what I said.
Right.
This year, so for the upcoming year, it's more about betterment improvement, right? In all aspects. And so what I'm going to spend the next few weeks about is breaking that down into a more digestible, what does January, February, March look like?
Yeah.
Right. And what are the things that I want to try and do in that time frame? And then what are the things that I'm going to start taking on to get me towards there, right? And not set I have to do this by this date, or it's more by the end of the month, I want to try and have this in place, right? And then adjust, right? And then adjust, and then adjust, and then adjust. And my adjustments will likely be more monthly, quarterly. I don't know that they'll be daily, weekly, because I know from my own self that.
Well, for those big things, but the daily check-in is just to see, am I still moving forward? Am I still like what reroute do I need to do?
Yeah. And that'll be easy enough depending on what they end up actually shaping up to be.
Yeah.
Right. But I also, as part of that, want to break down what's the one thing I can do today to move towards that. Right. And then the focus on that. And then February, is that one thing enough, or can I probably expand that to be, what's the one bigger thing, or what's the two things I can do? Right. And just build upon that. Right, rather than run to the gym in spandex and work out for 4 days until I'm super sore and then I'm done. Right. So, or whatever it ends up being. Yeah. But that's mine.
Cool.
I made mine.
Cool beans.
All right.
Alrighty.
We'll check in again.
Good day.
Good day to you.